Hello all, today we will be starting with the teaching aptitude unit, which I have already mentioned in the last class, which is a very conceptual unit. So let's start with the teaching aptitude only. Without any delay, I'll start the class. Before that, I would like to mention that I am Shabana Hussain and I have qualified the UGC NET exam thrice. So whatever content and whatever tips and tricks I'll be sharing, definitely all of these are tried and tested once, and without any doubts you can surely follow whatever we are taking up in these videos. So let's start with the teaching aptitude then. The first thing, when I say teaching aptitude, the term that we have is teaching, right? Now this is all that we have to do. Why do we have this unit teaching aptitude? Because after qualifying UGC NET, what we have to do is to teach. So definitely teaching aptitude is going to be a very important unit. Now this unit is not just a theoretical unit, it is also a practical and application based unit. So whatever you are learning today, you have to apply these things when you start your teaching process, teaching journey. So let's start. When I see this word teaching, I see it as a combination of two words, which is teach plus ing. Now teach, to teach is to impart knowledge. Basically, in simple language, what we understand with teaching is to impart knowledge. So teaching is basically imparting of knowledge or imparting knowledge simply. Now can you see this ing that we have with teach, which makes it teaching? So whenever we have ing, it simply makes it a process. How we can sum it up is, teaching is basically a process of imparting knowledge, imparting further knowledge. Now see, suppose you want to start your UGC NET preparations, alright. Prior to the preparation, you already have a set of knowledge. You already have a set of knowledge. You know what is teaching all about. You might have a rough idea about teaching aptitude, but then what happens is you have to enhance your knowledge. To sit for this exam, you have to enhance your knowledge. It means that you have to gain more knowledge. Alright. So it is basically the process of imparting knowledge or making an addition to your set of knowledges. Now what NTA says is, as per NTA, teaching means to bring a change. Now this bringing a change means to bring or bringing a change in the behavior of a student or a pupil, we can say. So why do we teach? Why do you think teaching is necessary? So teaching is necessary. Why? Because through teaching only the entire behavior. Now here behavior means your entire set of knowledge, alright. Because when you enhance your set of knowledge, only then you can bring a change in your behavior. If you have knowledge, then only that will lead to bringing a change in your behavior. So what NTA uses the statement or the term is to bring a change in the behavior of a student. Now let's try to understand this in the form of a chart. When you want to enter into the teaching process, suppose you want to get into a college for your graduation. So before applying, what do you have? You have certain kind of admission tests, right? Maybe in the form of entrances. So you have the admission test or the entrance test. Now when does it happen? Before you get into the process of teaching, right? This is before the teaching starts. Before starting the teaching process, before starting the entire course, what you do is you have to sit for an admission test or an entrance test. Even if you have not sat for your admission or entrance tests, you have to at least have a minimum qualification, maybe board, 10th pass or 12th pass, right? The mark sheet, it acts like the entrance test thing. So then after you get admitted, you are in this phase of during teaching, alright. So before teaching, now here we have to understand, before teaching, the kind of evaluation. Why did I say that it's admission test or entrance test? Because It is the kind of evaluation that is being followed before teaching. Now we are in the phase of during teaching. So when we are teaching, when we are in the phase of teaching, then the kind of evaluation that happens here is diagnostic evaluation. It is the diagnostic evaluation and the formative evaluation. So these are the two kinds of evaluation that is being done while we as teachers, we are teaching. So let's understand what is this diagnostic evaluation. Now see, when we are using this term diagnostic, so diagnostic is to diagnose. Now when you go to a doctor, what does a doctor diagnose? A doctor diagnoses a problem, right? A doctor tries to diagnose a problem, and according to the problem, he tries to provide you with a solution. So diagnostic evaluation is always, it's looking for a problem. Does the student have any problem? Is the student facing any issue with the syllabus? Maybe this topic, is the student facing any kind of issue, or what are the problems that he has? So it's basically related to problem. Whenever you get this word diagnostic, the keyword here is problem and solution. All right, it's basically problem. Then what we have is formative evaluation. Now formative evaluation. Alright, so it's a recorded class now, but when I am taking offline classes, when we are having physical classes, or when I am having live online classes, what I do is I keep on questioning. Now that's the habit of most of the teachers. We keep on questioning. Why do we keep on questioning? We want to see whether the student have understood the concepts well or not, whether there is an improvement, because in diagnostic evaluation we tried to find out the problem. We gave you the solution in the form of the content, and then we tried to check whether there is an improvement. See, I am focusing more on improvement. Why am I focusing more on improvement? Because it is a keyword. So we are trying to figure out whether there is an improvement in the student or not, in his knowledge set. All right, in the student meaning in the set of his knowledge. So did he understand the things properly? Now these formative evaluation, I can also state two more examples. Like while we are doing in the class, we are doing it in the forms of questions. We might do it question and answer sessions. We might do it in the form of quizzes. We might do it in the form of mock test. All right. But again, suppose you are having your sessionals. You have your sessionals. You have your midterm exam. What happens? These are in between the course. Now in the class, when we are teaching, when we are teaching you certain papers, when we keep on questioning, that is in between the course, right? So your sessional exams, your mid-semester exams, or your say midterm units, these are also parts of your formative evaluation. Here also you can note it as sessionals. We have the mid exams, midterm exams. You have the unit tests in the schools. So we had the unit test or unit exams, whatever it is. So we have the unit tests, etc. I hope this topic is clear, the concept of formative evaluation. I have already stated a lot of information. So what we are doing is, in the formative evaluation, we are trying to check the levels of improvement that the student has or not, and it is done during teaching. So see, the kinds of evaluation, the stages are very, very important. I am focusing more. Why? Because these are the topics from where questions are being asked repeatedly. Evaluation forms a very important topic for NTA, where questions are being asked again and again. Alright, next let's move on to other after teaching phase. After teaching phase. Now after the teaching process is over, we do a kind of evaluation. Now this evaluation is called as summative evaluation. Summative evaluation. Now please try to understand, what are your semester exams? Isn't that the end of your course? Maybe the third semester, it's the end of your third semester. It's the end of your course. So you have your semester exams, like sem exams. You had your final exams in the school. So why is this summative evaluation done? It is done at the end of the course, not in between. It's done at the end of the course. Why? The question here is why. We have to understand what is the purpose of conducting summative evaluation. The purpose here is simple. Why a school or an institute conducts the summative evaluation? To check the level of mastery. How much have you mastered the course? You have completed your third semester. Have you mastered all the subjects that you studied in your third semester? So the keyword here, I am focusing again on mastery. So the keyword here is mastery. Mastery. How much have you mastered the course? How much have you mastered the content, the knowledge that was given to you? That is about the summative evaluation. Again and again I am repeating, kinds of evaluation are very, very important. Do not miss these topics. The next thing here that I would like to highlight is, see, when your teacher is teaching you, suppose I am teaching you, why? Because I want my students to qualify their UGC NET exam. Alright, so what happens is, I have a desired behavior here. I have a desired behavior. Now my desired behavior is, let's say I want my students to score 40 plus questions correctly in paper 1. This is my desired behavior, meaning my expectations. I want my students to score at least 40 plus questions correctly in your paper 1. Now your summative evaluation is being done. You sit for your UGC NET exams. Now we have your terminal behavior. We have the terminal behavior. Your terminal behavior is your result, alright, the result which you get. Maybe you might get 40 plus questions correctly, or you might not get 40 plus questions correctly. You might not get it. Let's see, my desired behavior, if it is equal to your terminal behavior, meaning I expected you to score more than 40 plus, you scored more than 40 plus. In that scenario, my desired behavior is equal to your terminal behavior, right? In this case, as a teacher, I am successful, meaning my teaching is successful, alright. My purpose of teaching is successful mainly, but my desired behavior was that you score 40 plus in paper 1 and you did not score 40 plus in paper 1. You scored less than 40 plus. So in that case, what happens? Your terminal behavior and my desired behavior are not equal. In this case, as a teacher, I have failed. My ultimate success based on the success of my students. So what I expected, the content that I delivered or whatever I just gave, I expected that using these, my students will at least secure 40 plus questions correctly. But they were not able to score it. The reasons might be anything, doesn't matter. But as a teacher, in this case, I have failed. So when can we say that the teaching process is successful? Only when the desired behavior of a teacher is equal to the terminal behavior of a student. Alright. Now it's a very big concept here. In this concept itself, we have understood the kind of evaluation, the phases of teaching. We have done a lot of things here. So please do not miss this part. It is very, very important. Now let's move on to the variables of teaching. Variables of teaching, learning. Can you name the variables of teaching and learning? Meaning, to conduct this process, entire process of teaching, what do we need? What factors, what elements do we need to conduct the process of teaching? So the first element that we need to start the teaching is the teacher. The second element that we need is the student. The third element, the most important and the third element that we need is content. Alright. Now it can be content, it can be your space, it can be your medium, like these are recorded classes, right? So the medium is internet or YouTube or anything. It is the medium, because through that only I am trying to deliver my content. So any other element other than the teacher and student becomes your third element. Now we have particular names of these elements. The teacher is called as the independent variable. The student is called the dependent variable. And the content and all other factors which contributes to the process of teaching, it's called as the intervening variable. Alright, these are the three important variables of teaching. So the next thing is phases. I have already explained the phases of teaching. So we are done with the phases of teaching. So the next thing that we do is functions of teaching variables. Now, when we are talking about the functions of teaching variables, what I feel is mostly is these are the functions of the teacher, because whatever functions we will be studying now, it's related to the teacher. So let's see, we have three functions basically. The first is the diagnostic function. The second one is the prescriptive function. And the third one is the evaluative function. The evaluative function. So in the diagnostic function, now again let me tell you what happens in the diagnostic function. The word itself, which is diagnosis, what does a doctor do again? It diagnoses a problem, right? So diagnostic function, what happens as a teacher, the diagnostic function of a teacher is to find out problems. See, I am not focusing on the notes, I am just focusing on the concepts. So whatever things or whatever concepts I am trying to teach, I'll write it down in this manner. We do have a separate book for the concepts and the notes and everything, but in the classes what more I want to focus is on the concepts. So you'll just be getting the concepts. For the notes, you can search it online, or you can even contact us for the book. That's all right, but at least try to get the concepts. All right, notes, it's available, you can get it from anywhere, but the concepts, the understanding part, it's difficult. So focus on the concepts. The next thing is the prescriptive function. We have the prescriptive function. Now prescriptive, again going back to the story of the doctor. Let's consider a doctor. You go to a doctor and he tries to diagnose your problem, right? After he diagnoses your problem, he gives you certain medicines, yes or no? He prescribes you medicines. Now what are these medicines? Aren't these the solution to your problems? These medicines are your solution to the problem that he has diagnosed. So diagnostic function is all about diagnosis. A doctor diagnoses a problem. Prescriptive function, it is all about providing a solution, because a doctor provides or prescribes medicines. So medicines are your solution. So prescriptive function is about providing the solution. And then what happens? Once he provides you with the medicines, don't he call you for a re-checkup? Right? He calls you for a re-checkup. Why? Because the doctor wants to evaluate. He wants to evaluate whether the medicines that he prescribed has worked on your problem or not, whether the medicines are able to solve your problem or not. So evaluative function, the way we evaluate, the formative evaluation, the summative evaluation, the different kinds of evaluation. In the evaluative function, what a teacher tries to see is whatever content, whatever thing, whatever knowledge the teacher has delivered as a solution to the student, whether it has worked or not, whether the student is able to get benefits from it or not. That is why we have the evaluative function. So I hope the functions of teaching variables are very clear. Now whatever topics I'll be covering, all of these are based on the previous year questions. So once you go through the previous year questions, you go through the class firstly, you go through this video, and you go through the after that you go through the previous year questions, you will see, you'll surely find out that these contents are very much related to your previous year questions. So we have lot of things to be covered in teaching aptitude. It's not possible to cover everything in one single video. We will be coming up with more videos where I'll bring up concepts of teaching aptitude. We'll also focus on the theories, we'll focus on the philosophies, the levels we have, levels which are very, very important. We have the kind of behaviors of a teacher. So we have lot of topics to be covered. For that, do subscribe to the channel and do check out our videos, so that whatever content we are building, whatever content we are coming up with, it will help you in your preparations. So I hope you liked today's video. Thank you.